It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, Capital Markets Analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. With me is Rachael. She is a bud tender, right?
We're considered cannabis consultants or...
Cannabis consultant?
Yes.
Soon to be like manager and world domineer, whatever.
Hopefully.
We are at Beyond Hello.
Yes.
And that is a dispensary in Las Vegas, right?
Yes, yes.
We're here during MJ BizCon, so we thought we'd come in and ask the expert what the local market is all about.
Yes.
So this is your first rodeo.
In Las Vegas, yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
you've been in the industry for a little bit. So tell me about a little bit of your history, real quick. Elevator pitch about how you got in.
So I've just kind of moved back home. Las Vegas is my home. So being in Seattle, I was in Seattle for the first 5 years of the industry, kind of figuring it out there. Got homesick and decided to come home. Definitely wanted to stay in the cannabis industry, but didn't really know where to start. So I just went right back into a dispensary, and I've been here for a little over a year now.
Okay. And there's a lot of differences between markets.
Oh, absolutely.
Tons. So I think with Washington, the biggest difference, non-vertically integrated, so all of these stores are different owners than the brand, so there's no like loyalty at all. So you have like 2,000 SKUs, it's very overwhelming when you walk in, and you worked at one of them.
Absolutely, I ran one, yes.
Yeah, you were the manager at one of the discount stores, high volume, one of the highest volumes in the entire state of Washington.
Yes, yes.
And you were there knee deep in cannabis transactions.
100%.
Talk to me just about the initial, like as you walk through the store, it seems fairly similar. There's a doorman,
Yes.
there's people checking IDs, and that's about where the similarities end.
Correct. So, you walk into a Las Vegas store, we have to scan your ID. That's probably the first thing that people are always a little thrown off by, especially if they've been coming from the Seattle market, coming into the Vegas market. It throws them off because it does get sent to the state data system to make sure that we are not allowing any minors into the facility. They can't even come through the threshold, so we have to make sure we're mindful of that unless they're a medical patient. We do still do medical patient, but there's a process with that as well. You come in and we really try to avoid selling off percentages. We sell off terpenes here in Vegas, which is very different than Seattle. We don't even have terpenes on the back of the packaging in Seattle. So to have that conversation with the customer, I feel it really allows us to have a more intimate relationship with that customer and really focus on that retention of the customer as well. We still have a plethora of different dispensaries that are around the area. We really want them to go past those dispensaries and come to us, and it's really the experience that they have with us.
How does a newly emerged market like Vegas get to that point where in Washington, like you mentioned, it's percentage, so people walk in and like, what's the highest THC at the lowest price point? That's how they find their brand, and then once they find their brand, then they become loyal to
Correct.
it. Where is that difference at, and how is Nevada got to that point?
I feel like a really big difference is the amount of licenses that are accessible compared to Seattle or compared to Washington State. The saturation of licenses is incredible compared to, I believe it's maybe 12 to 14 licenses in the state of Nevada right now, not including the consumption loan licenses that are currently in the works. But it's just completely different, just night and day.
So the limited market state in Nevada makes it so that there's more competition, and therefore you have to step up your game?
You have to step up your game, but you have to know your game. I feel like, not to talk badly about the Washington experience in cannabis, but there's really not a whole lot of conversation to have because we don't have the information like we do here. All terpenes are listed. So if we have customers that come in, a lot of our regulars, we call them, what's your terpene trifecta? What's that trifecta that really gets you to where you need to be as far as whatever you're trying to achieve, whether it's addressing your anxiety or addressing, and that's another thing, we can actually talk more freely here in Las Vegas versus in Washington. You're very limited on what you can say, whereas we have a little bit more room here in Nevada.
What was your technique, if you will? you worked at a store where there was like 2,000 SKUs, and we'll show a little bit of video from a different store, one that you didn't work at, but similar layout where there's just product everywhere.
Yes.
And you walk in and you're like, damn, I don't even know where to begin. Where did you start when you were at Uncle Ike's in Seattle in that environment and people just don't know? Like, how do you even begin to make a recommendation? What was your style?
In Seattle versus here?
Yeah.
So in Seattle, even though we didn't sell off terps, I use cannabis every day. So we utilize a lot of products. I would sit down with my team. We would have outside little home events where we'd bring munchies and stuff like that and sit down and try the products together and discuss the products, the terpene profiles that we felt that they had, and sell off the experience that we were having with it. Here, I just have those numbers and that information on the back of every package that backs up what I'm saying. Because we can go to the science of terpenes and be able to support everything that I'm saying, myrcene, making it sedative and tired. Whereas limonene can really uplift that mood and just get you in the zone if you're trying to focus on something or need some creativity. So having that information, selling the product to the customer, presenting it to the customer, and then having that information on the back just really instills that trust with me, with the customer with me, and the customer with the product.
I always walk into a store and ask, what's the number one product being sold? What's your favorite product? And I get flour. Like 90-something% of the time, the bud tenders there are in the flour, which kind of surprises me. And then I ask them, why is this your particular flour a favorite? And then they'll say something that, there is perps, or there is crystally, or it's always kind of the superficial visual response, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Right.
What are you seeing, if anything different, and in terms of the number one product that customers are buying here? This is not, I would assume this is not a tourist destination, because this is significantly farther off.
We're a little further off the map. We do have locations near the Strip off of Twain and Paradise, and then we just have a new location on Las Vegas Boulevard as well on the Strip. But this is our demographic is more for the local, absolutely. We do get the touristy type of people that will come in, only more so because of our reputation and the education that we carry with it, because not all stores sell like we do or present products like we do.
What is the number one product that people were buying in Seattle, and how does that differ from this location?
I feel like flour is just always a dominant, people, that's what everybody's most comfortable with. But I do notice that because we have the accessibility, the education that we have, and make it available to the consumer, you find them being more open to trying new things, which is really exciting. You might have that loyal flower customer that's just not quite getting that high that they're trying to achieve, or so they're not, they kind of would shy away from concentrates and infused pre-rolls and things of that nature. We have customers now that'll make their own infusions and become their own mad scientists, where they come and buy some concentrate and some flour to really create that experience that they're looking to have.
What's your favorite product right now?
Right, I'm always a flower girl, always have been, but I'm a really big fan of our Bank Sachet Black Afghan infused blunts. A lot of blunts, it stands out from the other ones. A lot of blunts are rolled in a hemp wrap. Ours is rolled in a tea leaf, so it's slower, it burns slower, it's smoother, and it tastes sweeter. It doesn't really affect or interfere with the bud that you're actually smoking. It's just a really nice, lazy indica high that I love so much. So
I'm a big blunt fan. I brought some from Seattle, but it doesn't have that hemp, and it's not. It's a guilty pleasure, but I like the swisher, the sweetness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
It sounds like that's kind of like that happy medium.
100%, yeah. I even feel like it's not. I feel like swisher, you get that artificial type of flavor, whereas with the tea leaf, it's completely natural. So that sweetness that you're getting is straight from that tea leaf that they're choosing to use for our blunts.
So I paid $18 for my 3.5 gram blunt.
Yes.
How does that price different than what you get here in Nevada?
So our blunts that we have in our shop are 1 gram infused pre-rolls, and we sell them out the door for $14.
That's not bad.
Well, out the door plus tax, I believe it can get to like $18, but under $20 for a gram.
I was expecting a lot more than that, being Nevada.
For sure. We do have other products like the El Blunto that will kind of exceed that with a little bit more concentrate and flour and a little bit more presentation, if you will. Our blend is a blend, you know, with a tip, where the El Blunto has a glass tip and comes in a very fancy package and things of that nature. So we definitely have different products for different demographics of people, for sure.
Okay. All right. What else is different? Like if you had to compare and contrast the Nevada market. I know you've been in California too.
I was in California for a little while, yeah.
Yeah. So you've seen the way that the different states operate.
Absolutely.
How is Nevada unique? And maybe you can kind of compare and contrast other places you've been.
I feel like the passion for the plant is really heavy here in Las Vegas compared to other places that I've been to. The producer processor had that passion in Seattle or in Washington State. Very close friends with many people that are just family-owned farms that just trying to make it out in Washington State in the Washington market. It's kind of similar to California. Small town family farms, just really trying to figure it out, and what we're kind of gravitating to, what they call a corporate cannabis type of lifestyle when it comes to being in the industry. But here, the passion for the plant is within all of us. So it's not just us presenting the product, it's the customer coming in knowing their terpene trifecta. I want high myrcene with low limonene and very little caryophyllene. And it allows us to have a more intimate conversation with our consumer to really find the product that they need.
That's interesting. So would you advocate for limited license states, whereas in like Washington there's thousands of licenses, and it doesn't really work out like agricultural wise? You don't have 400 tomato farmers anymore.
Exactly.
So you know, if you were to compare like the energy drink market, there's all of these energy drinks and very little differentiation except for maybe branding.
Correct.
So that maybe there's more BS ingredients or a cheaper way of doing it, whereas in a limited license state, they wouldn't be able to stay in business because it's easier to see the BS on the ingredient list or whatever else. Is that why you would attribute the difference and the presumed success and awareness and attitude of Nevada over these other states is because it's limited and they have to be good at what they do?
I feel like it definitely applies the pressure. Is it the complete reason why? Maybe not, but I feel like it definitely applies that pressure where, you know, the consumer is still not going to purchase if they don't enjoy the product. We had some little hiccups, you know, sometimes with some of our products. You know, now we add Boveda packs to our eighths just to retain that moisture, because in Nevada it's a lot of a drier climate than the other places that we have stores in. So making those little tiny adjustments show that we care about our products, and the consumer feels that too. It kind of, again, just trickles down into the consumer.
Okay, that's great. What about delivery? Because you guys have delivery that was huge, I would imagine, during the lockdown.
It was the only option for a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
Curbside pickup, online delivery. What do you think is like the one thing, if you had to pick, that would benefit a new market, you know, like Maryland or Missouri that's coming out? If they had to pick something, what advice would you have? Would you be like, hey, you gotta have delivery because people are lazy? Or like, what is it about the markets that you've seen that you, if you were to open up a shop in this new emerging market, that you would implement?
I would definitely implement delivery. For example, we have a customer right here that's coming out, $75 and up. We deliver anywhere in the city. So we have a demographic, an older demographic, that really would love that accessibility to the products that really do help them. But a lot of the time they're limited. So having that delivery option and being able to call in their delivery, you know, we have customers that are born in 1932, you know, trying products. They really can't get around for a curbside pickup or to come into the shop. So giving them that delivery option, I feel really not only broadens the consumer that you're trying to reach, but it also gets the plant to the people that really need it. And that demographic, you know, is the baby boomers are the ones that are spending the most money in this market, in my opinion. We might have more frequented with the younger consumer, but as far as who spends the most money when they're coming in for the topicals and the tinctures and things of that nature, it's going to be our baby boomer demographic for sure.
Okay. Do you guys have any infused coffee?
No coffee, no. We're kind of pretty standard when it comes to our at least in this shop, we're pretty standard. We do have some things like drinks and stuff like that, but no coffee.
Americans drink more coffee than water, 59% versus 58% water. The math doesn't add up there, but if you ask people what their favorite is, 59% say coffee, and then like another whatever 58% say water. I didn't conduct the survey. I have no idea what the numbers, how that works out. But I find it interesting though that as the home of Starbucks in Seattle, where I'm from, where you've worked at, we still don't have coffee. Is that going to be a sign of normalization, or in your opinion, what will be the marker of like, damn, we've made it, this is normal?
When we're able to go into high school horticulture classes and speak to them about the opportunities they can have coming into the cannabis industry. Reaching out, not doing dare classes, but going in and being like, hey, you know, I'm a mom of 2. I have a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old, and they're very proud as to what I do. Versus some people are like, well, what does she do exactly? You know, she's not a doctor, but I feel like that's where the normalization will come in, where we really open those opportunities for these trades for the future of this market, of this industry.
I just spoke to somebody from Urban Grow, and they're an architectural firm, and talking about, you know, the advantages of greenhouse and horticulture, agriculture, vertical integrated agriculture, all of that stuff. And he's in high schools. Yeah. He's not talking about hemp. He's not even talking about cannabis, but they're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so all they got to do is kind of get that approval, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, because Dare, you have kids. You know that if you're overprotected, kids are like a rubber band.
100%.
And you can't just say no, no, no. Like, you know, if you smoke cannabis, you're gonna play a trumpet out of your ass and all these weird things. Yeah. You have to be legit with them, because, you know, during my 6th grade year, for that, they're talking about if you did cocaine once, you're going to be this crackhead, right? You know, and so then I saw,
and that's how I grew up. You know, Dare, it was like all drugs are bad. Period.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, well now you're lying. So I've got friends who did some blow, and so it must not be that bad,
right?
You know, so they got to be a little bit more legit, I guess. So I find that interesting with kids. Do you have pediatric cannabis patients?
Not in store. The caregivers usually will come in and purchase products for them, but that doesn't mean that we're not treating or providing products to the younger cannabis consumer.
Okay. All right. We got to wrap this one up. Where can people find you at? Where are we?
We are located off of Sahara and Buffalo in good old Las Vegas, Nevada. Come by and visit us. We have specials all during the week and everyday specials from as low as $48 quarters all the way up to $19 half grams of wax. So
awesome. Rachael Brower. I'm Josh Kincaid. We're going to have to roll this one up. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Or don't. And I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.